Good morning, guys. We're going to do some slow dancing. Yoga, dance, fitness, all kind of blended together. This is what I do for myself to help myself feel really good. Let's take the feet apart and roll the shoulders up and back and down a few times. So here we're just taking a nice big breath in and then letting it go. A nice big breath in. So friends, this is just my own personal workout. And I'm sharing it with you in case you might like to see what it's all about. Looking over the shoulder and center, moving slowly, using the eyes, looking out of the eyes. To the side, I exhale, I inhale back to center, and I exhale, inhale back to center. Now making a circle. I take my head to the side, I let my chin slowly come across my chest. I come over to the other side, and then I take my head back and over very slowly. Sometimes I feel a little bit crunchy, and I take my time with that. If my neck is stiff, I just lift my head straight up. Okay, going the other way now, I'm taking my head to the side, chin across the chest, over to the side, slowly back, chin across the chest, slowly relaxing into the side, back, and side. All right, now I'm taking my feet a little wider apart, and I'm just going to bend my knees side to side. It's not a great big bend. My toes are on about a 45-degree angle, and my knees go in the same direction as my toes as I roll my shoulders back. Just taking it slow and easy. And as that starts to feel good and loosen up a little, I pull it back a little farther, bring my elbow up a little higher. I'm trying to open my chest, open my heart, slide my shoulder blade back towards my spine, do a small twist. And now that comes a little higher as I feel good. If my shoulder was bothering me, I'd stick to the lower movements. And then it starts to come up and back and around. Okay, now I'm reversing. I'm bringing forward and down, forward and down. So it's almost like I'm swimming. Doing the front crawl. And then making that bigger. Bending my knees, reaching to the side. Taking my knees out to the side. Really taking my time with every move. It's not a huge knee bend. Just getting started. Trying to keep the shoulders down, the chin in, and the tummy tight. I'm going to do 4 more. And I'm bringing my feet in and parallel, softening my knees, tightening my tummy, taking the hips front, side, back, and side. Really slowly. Reversing it, front, side, back. I always try to do everything on both sides equally. If I can keep my mind on what I'm doing and not forget to do one side. Okay, so that's 3 or 4 slow circles in each direction. And now I'm moving down towards my feet, focusing on them. I'll bend my knees and lift one heel, and I'm kind of cracking my toes, stretching out the bottom of my foot. I just let my arms do what they want. I'm not trying to force any of my moves. I'm really feeling each thing I do, feeling my way into the movement. Okay, now I take my feet a little wider apart, and I'm bending my knee on the right. Notice I have my feet parallel. So that means my knee comes forward. I drop my hip and reach up, making a curve through the outside of the body here. Change sides. I bend my knee, drop my hip, and make a curve right through the body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I like to reach up all the way to the ceiling, bend the knees, come down, place my hands on my thighs, and roll up 1 vertebrae at a time, and then bring my shoulders back and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hands up and down, roll up, shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hands up and down, roll up, shoulders back. Nice work. Bringing the arms up like angel wings, taking them back and up in a nice big 3-dimensional arc, back and down, bringing the hands to the legs, sliding the hands down, keeping a flat back. So I try to flatten up my back. I have a little bit of a softness to my knees, and then I'm coming up, taking the hands up, back, back and down to the thighs, sliding the hands down toward the shins, keeping a softness in the knees, and coming back up. Up and down. We'll do one more. Really keeping my back as flat as I can. All right, I bring my feet in a little bit. Toes slightly turned out. Sit, reach forward, come up, shoulders back. Good. Reach up and down. Sit, up, reach up and down. Sit, up, reach, sit, come up, reach, sit and up, reach, sit and up, reach. I'll do 4 more of these. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of a side stretching and rolling up exercise. So I'll bend my knees, sitting a little bit, reach down, bring my elbow up, reach up and push the ceiling up, draw a circle to the side, relax, roll up, and roll the shoulders back and down, and tighten the tummy. On the other side, I bend my knees into coming to a sitting position, reaching down, elbow up, push the ceiling up, reach around in a big arc, and then come down, roll up, bring my shoulders back and down. Sit, reach down, elbow up, reach up, around in a big circle, and roll it up. Sit, reach down, elbow up, reach up, around, and up. Sit, reach down, elbow up, reach up, around, and up. One more. Sit, reach down, elbow up, reach up, around, and up. All right, I'm going to take that stretch down a little deeper into my hamstring stretch. And then when I come up, I'm going to bring my hands behind my head, take my elbows back, lift my heart up towards the ceiling, really open up, little back extension and back to the hamstring. So here we go, sliding the hands down a little further. I like to bend the knees and stretch the legs straight. Bend the knees and roll up. Bring the hands behind the head. Open the heart and lift it. Good job. Sit a little bit as you fold over. Stretch. Bend the knees. Roll up. Hands up. Open. Lift. Down. Stretch. Bend. Roll it up. I'm going to do one more. Up. Open. Lift. Take a big breath. Coming down. Bending the knees, stretching straighter. Bending. Come Coming up. Okay, and now I'm going into a little twisting movement, very gentle, floating my arms around, releasing the heel from the floor. Taking one shoulder towards the back at a time. Four more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now I'm coming down into the hips again. So my feet are under my hips. I'm bending my knees, turning my heel out, my knee out, excuse me, on this right side. And then I'm going to take the knee in and out. So my standing leg is a little bit bent. I'm keeping my knee in alignment with my ankle and toes. And I'm just mobilizing my hip a bit. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. And changing sides. If I need to reset, I just stop and shift from foot to foot for a little while. Lifting my heel, I'm coming down into a seated position, turning the knee out, and bringing it in and out, in and out. My standing leg is a little bit bent. I think there's more music in here. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Okay, taking my feet wider apart and the toes are pointing straight forward. I'm bending my knee on the right, seeing how this feels. Coming up and stretching up and out and back and down, bending my knee on the left, pressing my tail back, keeping a flat back, coming up, out, back, and down. Now I'm going to speed it up a little bit, maybe. No, I don't think I'll speed it up. I think I'll keep it slow. Slow dancing. Just mobilizing everything. Push the tail back. I'm feeling my inner thigh get a nice waking stretch. If I feel good, I bring my hands closer to the floor, all the way down maybe. Up, out, back and down. Up, out, back and down. I'm going to reverse my arms. Coming down, up, taking the arms back, up, and bringing it down. Coming up, making a big circle. Coming down. I'll step my feet in. Now I'm taking my feet out and I'll turn my toes to the right on the right leg. Turn my toes a little bit in on the back leg. So the heel is the furthest thing back. And I'm just going to come on down and up, track my knee straight over my ankle. I'm trying to pull my left shoulder back a bit so I'm square to the front. I'm reaching out through my fingertips. the knee to wake up. And now I'll hold, and I'll come slowly to a side stretch with my forearm on my thigh, trying to make a line from my hand all the way down to my ankle, and then I'll come up, hold the thigh in the back, and stretch straight up. Down for a big side stretch, and up. I'll do 2 more of these. Down, big side stretch, up. 1 more. Up. I'll come up. My toes will face forward. I'll make sure my feet aren't too far apart. I'll turn my toes on the left to the left side, and the right foot will turn in just a little. I want to track my knee over the center of my ankle and pull my right shoulder back a little bit. And I'm reaching out through my fingertips. Now I'll hold this and bring my forearm to my thigh and reach up, stretching from my wrist to my ankle. And come up, hold my leg and stretch straight up. I'm exhaling as I come down here. And I'm inhaling as I come up. Exhaling as I come down, and inhaling as I come up. And I'm coming up, turning my toes to the front, and I'll scooch my toes and heels in. Toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels. All right, now with my feet on train tracks, beneath my hips, I'll take my left foot back, turn the toes out a little, and I'm floating my arms up, out, back to my thigh, relaxing over the thigh, taking a breath, and slowly rolling myself up. So I'll try that again. Up, out, back, hands on my thigh. Slide the hands down. You may only come halfway some days. Take a breath. Come up. All right, let's reverse the arms back. Up, in, hands to your thigh, sliding down, rolling up, arms back, up, down, relaxing over, slowly coming up, stepping up, and I like to take a minute to reset my hips. I just do a little hips side to side, taking the right foot back, left foot forward. I like to watch and make sure that my knee stays centered on my ankle here. My back foot's a little bit turned out, not too much. I'm trying to square my shoulders to the front. Bringing my arms up, around in a big circle, hands to my thigh, relaxing over, relaxing the neck, taking a breath, slowly coming up. I'll do that one more time. Up, out, back, down, relaxing over, taking a breath, and slowly coming up. Reversing, I take my hands back, up, slowly bring them down, slide them down, relax, take a breath, slowly up, one more, back, out, up, and down, laying right on my thigh, relaxing my neck, slowly coming up, stepping up, and resetting my hips. Now I like to just get a little more heated up with a little bit of dance movement. So I'm taking my feet apart, bending my knees, my tummy's in, I'm pushing my hips to the right and to the left. Right, left, right, left. Nice and easy, I'm not trying to do anything miraculous. Just stretching out the side of my hips a little. And then I'll bring that to a single time. Hip, 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 hip. Bend the knees. Excellent. Tap your toe, side to side. Turn your knee out. Bring your hands up. Take your hands to the opposite side. So your knee turns out on the right, and your hands go to your left shoulder, and vice versa. Keeping my tummy tight, activating my butt muscles a little bit, squeezing my gluteus muscles. Excuse me. Nice work. Back to the lunge, side to side. We did it earlier. Rolling the shoulders. Making that bigger. Making it even bigger. Adding a little energy to it. Bringing the toes and heels in. Reset the hips. Finding the beat with the right foot. Taking it forward and back. Adding a little hip and heels if it feels good. Giving a push with the right hand. Giving a push and a pull. push and a pull, push, pull. And then fixing the hair, push, hair fixing. And marching. I'm taking my left foot, I'm finding the beat on the left, listening for the beat. Then the foot goes forward and back. And I'm trying to get my heel down as I step back to lengthen my calf a little bit. Okay, and I like to add a little bit of hip movement, just because I like it. And then we're pushing. And then pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling, fixing the hair. And stepping together. Nice. Now I'm going to take my arms and think about a number 8 laying on its side. I'm going to draw the number 8 in 3 dimensions. So I go to the side, but also to the back a little bit. Side, back, side, back, side and back. And as that starts to feel good, I let it get bigger. And I let it go a bit. Step tap, side to side. I reach down, tap my toes to the back, bend my knees, taking a step to the side. I pause with my toes behind and make a nice little knee bend. Pull in the tummy. Push one hand up and one hand down. I step to the side, tap behind, bend the knees, push down and up. Step, tap, push down and up. Step, tap, push down and up. Step, tap, push down and up. Last one. Step, tap, push down and up. Good work. So next I'm going to tap my foot on the right, and then I'll step to the right and behind. I'm just listening for the beat. And I'll step to the right, behind, right, behind. And if it feels good, I'll add a little hip movement. And push. Now really flex your palm to the side. Fingers up. Push and pull. Elbow comes back. Fix your hair. Push, fix your hair. the left. And here we're just listening for the beat again. And we're stepping to the left and behind. We're adding a push and a little bit of hips. Really lifting the fingers up towards the ceiling, flexing the palm. Now pull, push, and pull. So you get a little bit more dynamic in your movement. And then you fix your hair. Back to our easy step tap. Bringing this a little lower. And doing that figure 8 with the arms. Doing 4 more. Marching. Stepping with the right and then the left. Right, left. Bending the knees. Coming a little lower. Adding a little hip. Okay, we're adding our push. Fix the hair. Push. Fix the hair. Adding a little push. 1, 2, 3. Taking our heels up towards the bottom. Bringing the hands up. Squeezing the shoulder blades back. Bringing the heel to the front, turning the knee out. Sitting into this just a little. Bringing the hands a little higher. To the back, hands up, palms up, squeezing the elbows back, front, turning the knee out, and tapping back, reaching down. Doing that front crawl, that swim movement. We did this earlier. Marching. So now I'm feeling warm enough to get into some deeper stretching. So I'm going to come on down to my mat. I love coming down through a deep low squat. I have my feet shoulder width, toes turned out. I bring my arms up, bring my hands to my heart, and bend my knees out to the side. slowly come down, bringing my hands to the floor. I like to shift my body weight from foot to foot. And soon I'll be putting myself in the hands and knees position. Bringing my right foot forward. I have my legs in a 90-90 pose, so not an extreme stretch, but I will bring my hips forward a little bit, making sure my shin's perpendicular to the floor. I'll move back a bit. So coming forward and easing up. Coming forward and easing up. I like to bring my hands down to the floor and stretch back slowly, straightening out the front leg a little bit. Come forward and back, pointing the tail towards the back. Forward and hold it, bringing the arm up in an easy twisting movement, and then threading the needle slowly up and down. Doing 2 more of these. And knees. I'll bring my other foot forward. It's my left foot now. And I'm coming back to my 90-90 pose. Relaxing the shoulders down, coming forward and easing off. Forward and easing off. I like to put my hands on the floor and then stretch back, pointing my tail towards the back of the room. Slowly coming forward, easing back. Very fluid, slow movements. I feel my way through this. If I need to slow down more, I go right ahead and I slow down some more. I bring my hips forward, leave my right hand on the floor, float my left hand up, and then bring it down and through. My left hand up, easy twist, down and through. Left hand up, down and through. Left hand up, down and through. And now I'll come to my hands and knees again. I'm going to press back towards a child's pose and come up to cat, pulling in my tummy. And then bring my hips forward, come to half plank, and lower myself right down onto my tummy. Very slowly, lift head and shoulders, look to the right and left, and come down. Ladies push up, back to child's pose. My knees are a little bit wide. Up through the cat, coming forward to the half plank, pulling in the tummy, lowering really slowly with control. Coming up, lifting head and shoulders, looking from one side slowly to the other side, keeping the tummy pulled in. Good, I come down, do a ladies push-up, and back to child's pose. Legs, hands behind the back, feet at least shoulder width apart, probably wider. Bending the knees, coming to a little 90-90 on the right and reaching around to the back and center. Coming to a 90-90 on the left, reaching around to the back and coming center. Little 90-90, reaching around, good, sitting cross-legged, relaxing the shoulders, reaching to the front and right and center and front and right and center, front and right, center, front, right, center. Changing feet, getting comfortable again, shoulders relaxed. Front, left, center, front, left, center, front, left, center, front, left, center. And now laying on my back, winding down. Knees bent, arms to the side in the T position. Really slowly, I'm taking my knees from one side over to the other. And I'm just noticing how this feels. I'm not pushing it too far. Just taking it slowly, looking in the opposite direction. So my knees will go one way and I'll look the other way. To my side. I'm scooching back a little bit because I've gotten off the camera. Okay, taking the top ankle, pulling my heel towards my bottom, and here I'm pulling in my tummy and tightening up my buttock to open the front of my hip. I want to feel a big stretch in the front of my thigh. If I couldn't reach my foot, I'd lasso it with my bathrobe belt. I'm going to come all the way over onto my tummy. I'm reaching my right arm to the back of the room, palm down, doing a hamstring curl, putting my left hand by my shoulder, and gently opening up. My shoulder is against the floor, and I'm feeling my shoulder open up. This is one of my favorite stretches. Slowly coming out of that. I'll do a ladies push-up. I'll come back to child's pose. Now I'll come over to my left side. Get comfortable. Take my ankle, pull my heel towards my bottom so I stretch out the front of my thigh. I'm tightening up my buttock, taking my knee back, keeping my thigh parallel to the floor. And I don't want to forget my left shoulder. So I'm going to roll onto my tummy, reach my left arm to the back of the room, put my right hand by my shoulder, do a hamstring curl here on the right, and open my shoulder against the floor. The palm of my hand is down, it's reaching straight back behind me. And here I'm coming back onto my tummy, doing my ladies push-up. I'm tucking my toes, bringing my forearms to the floor. I'm going to push one foot back so I feel the calf muscle getting a good stretch. Change, take my other foot back, tuck the toes, push straight back. I'm taking the knees wide, tucking the toes, walking the hands back through the center, coming to my deep low squat, taking a minute to pause here. Taking a breath, very slowly coming to standing, taking my time, and finishing up with my right hand coming behind my back, pulling in my tummy, taking my head over to the left, dropping the shoulder on the right. I want to feel a big stretch from my ear down over my shoulder. And coming out of that, I'll take my left hand back. I'll pull in my tummy. I'll take my head over to the right. I want to feel that stretch all the way down from behind my ear, right over my shoulder. And now I'm taking my hips side to side like we did right at the beginning, just seeing how everything feels. Doing that little double bump. Okay, I feel so much better. I feel ready to tackle the day. I hope you feel good. Ready to take on all the things life has in store. Thank you for joining me. Please like this video and subscribe to my little channel if you enjoyed seeing what I do when I wake up in the morning. Thank you.